I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
Buy
Shall
our
shall
merch.
lead them. Mm-hmm. Yo, look at our Ghost. He's all down for the count. Man, get Ghosty up there, man. Get Ghosty to stand up. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
It's not time to sleep. It's time to rock.
The time has arrived for us to rock. As you can see up there, we are hanging out with the big homie DJ Nick. That is DJ Nick's icon there. Mm-hmm. So he's coming with the heat. We've already done Jethro Tull, ladies and gentlemen. You missed a special one if you missed that. However, never you fear, because now we're about to get some Nightwish. DJ Mike got his coffee, so he's ready to rock and roll. There's the proof right there if you didn't believe me. And we are about to rock and roll. Here we go. This is Nightwish. A fan favorite, and it is called Endlessness Human Nature, I think is the name of the song. By the band Nightwish.
And Pony's not here. Wah.
Let's go. Perfect. Follow that up with the guitar. Yes, Springsteen. Bang, bang, guys. What a song. That was Nightwish. Endlessness. Shout out to Becky. Good to see you.
That was Floor?
Yeah, it was Flora and the bassist, Marco.
Was it more her at the beginning? Because usually she goes even crazier than that.
Yeah.
Was this like when she was new to it? Is this like one of the new ones?
No, this is 2020. All the female vocals. All the female vocals were Floor, and the male vocals were Marco.
I really enjoyed this one.
Who has recently, unfortunately, left the band or taken a hiatus. I don't know if hiatus was the term that was used, but he left the band. No, you did not miss Queensryche. It's a song about a universe, or actually a multiversal force so grand, so majestic that it actually binds and permeates everything. All of our lives are just tiny particles in this mighty flow, and then there's this mere human vocalist and his friend, a human being as well, has written a story, and we're in this rock group trying to bring its unique loneliness across to other mere humans. There's a lot there. I was first introduced to the whole to Nightwish through Pony.
Yeah.
I had heard of them. I knew they were a band, but the history, the lore, all that jazz of Nightwish, I didn't know until I ran into the channel.
Okay, so when we first when we first learned about Nightwish, I didn't know anybody from anybody. So Pony actually had a picture of Floor as her little picture on the side. Yeah, her little icon. And so I thought that Pony was Floor. But that not that Pony was Floor actually, but that she looked like Floor, and I had no idea what Floor looked like. But now I know.
I think Pony can actually sing though. So they're from they're from Finland though, I heard. Okay, so that is a very fascinating. I mean, again, guys, look at what he says here. To me, I just come out and say the word God, bro. People have such a hard time just saying God, you know. Like, I feel like we become victims to these titles. So he's saying it's a song about a universe, or actually a multiversal force. So a multiversal force that is so grand and so majestic that actually binds and permeates everything. Now, what would that be? A multiversal force that binds everything. All of our lives are just tiny particles in this mighty flow. Mm-hmm. And then there's this mere human vocalist and his friend, a human being as well, has written a story, and we're in this rock group trying to bring its unique loneliness across to other mere humans. So this thing is mighty, it's majestic, it's responsible for all the universes and everything you see and everything you can't see. It binds us all together, it permeates everything, and all of us are tiny particles in this grander scheme of things, and it has the ability to feel, particularly feel loneliness, and the only being that could feel loneliness would be a conscious being who is a relational being.
Right.
Why do you have to call it a force? Just say that that's God. You see what I'm saying?
No, if you say it's God, then you have to say all kinds of other things that you don't want to say.
Yeah. I think the term God is front loaded with so much baggage now, probably having to do with the what we talked about in the previous song. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's because you're a square.
It's Jethro Tull, My God,
and you were not part of the live stream.
Or Tull, I don't know.
But it's really fascinating. You know, last night or this morning I was up again and I was watching Bernardo Kastrup. And he was on with, I forgot who it was, and he is a complete idealist, so he doesn't believe in physical matter at all. And so he was talking about how, so he believes, he says, look, none of this stuff exists outside of mentation. In other words, applying your mental faculties to a thing. So he's saying that camera doesn't exist, not the way that you think it does. He was taking off of Hoffman's ideas, yeah. See, the thing about Kastrup is Kastrup has a philosophical. He came to that conclusion philosophically. What I like about Hoffman, not that I'm against philosophy, what I like about Hoffman is that he proved it mathematically.
No, I can't even.
Right. So
every time they say that, it makes no sense to me.
You got general theory of relativity, right? Equals MC squared. You translate that into a mathematical equation, and if the math equation works perfectly, then you're right, because math is something that's completely objective and cannot be subjectivized. So it's.
I think I know so little about that.
Well, I was listening to this other guy, and they were talking with Kumar, my guy, and he was talking about the hard problem of consciousness. When it really about 20, 30 years ago in the field of neuroscience really became a thing, the hard problem of consciousness, namely, why does peanut butter taste like peanut butter?
Yep.
You know, you have the soft problem, which is basically, or the soft problem or the easy problem of consciousness, which is, you know, you've got neurotransmitters and things like that carry. But why you consistently taste peanut butter, we have no clue. Right? And so Kastrup is saying, look, look, none of this shit exists outside of mentation. And you have things like, on a really like accessible level, you have things like that dress where one group was seeing it as a blue and black dress,
Right.
another group was seeing it as a gold and white dress. And the people, we saw it as a gold and white dress. Apparently it's a blue and black dress.
But the thing is, I don't care what people say. I don't believe it.
Right. Well, the people that made the dress said it. You know what I'm saying? So but either way, that just goes to show.
Because I saw the picture of anyway, I get your point.
But yeah, it just goes to show that you would have swore to God that was that.
Yeah.
And then when you say, yeah, but the people that made it saw it in blue and black, I understand that they have,
I'm like, yeah, I saw the picture of the dress they made, and it was blue and black.
They have blue and black strings, and that's what they think. But how do we know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the other thing. How can you know?
Right.
How can you know if they're not seeing? Like, what if there's a color? What if what we see as blue is really like Coricholo?
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
What's funny?
We don't have the ability to do it, so our mind kind of remixes it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Go ahead. What were you saying?
I had this thought one time. So we were like kind of raised to really, really care about everybody's opinion. And I remember one time when I was like, okay, this is definitively a good outfit, and I needed to have a good outfit that everybody was objectively going to say was a good outfit.
Yeah.
And then I remember thinking, well, wait a minute. What if what I see, like somebody's colorblind, they're going to see something as different. So if you wear an outfit, all the colorblind people might think is a hideous outfit. Or there's other people that might see things in different shades than you do. So you might think your outfit's amazing, but then other people might not agree with it. Yeah. And then like when I thought of that, all of a sudden I was like, I can't do this. I can't, because you can't please everybody in that sense. It was like an impossibility, but not that it's that important. It was just you were talking about the colors and it reminded me of that.
No, I agree. And, here's Vlad. Vlad says, science best explains the natural world. What lies beyond anything is an open question. That's not true. Look, even within science, there are things that you have to presuppose.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let me give you an example. The hard problem of consciousness.
Right.
The only people that consciousness is a hard problem for are physicalists. Physicalists or materialists are people that believe that physical matter preceded consciousness. And so, if you believe that physical matter preceded consciousness, then you have what's called the hard problem of consciousness, because how do you get consciousness out of dead matter or unconscious matter? Mm-hmm. Because if you're a physicalist, you're going to be forced to say that consciousness is a physical property.
Right.
Which is not. And it's impossible to prove that. You have to assume that. That's an irreducible assumption that you have to make for any sort of physicalist or materialist scientific discipline. Mm-hmm. So even when we say things like the hard problem of consciousness is not a hard problem for Kastrup.
Right.
And it's not a hard problem for Hoffman. It's only a hard problem for physicalists. Mm-hmm. So you have a bunch of physicalist scientists who say, oh, this is the best way to explain the natural world, when they can't even explain the fundamental element of explanation in the first place. They can't explain how we explain things. And then they say, I agree, science is a great tool of apprehending what's in front of us to a degree. Mm-hmm. But if you're talking about ultimate issues, science is not some cure-all or whatever. At the end of the day, you still need some sort of philosophy to undergird your science. So physicalism is a philosophical presupposition. It's not a scientifically proven idea. Mm-hmm. Right? That's just something that they hold on faith and something that they have to presuppose in order to do their work. Right. So even when I use the term the hard problem of consciousness, it's not a hard problem. We don't have that problem as theists.
Right.
Hoffman doesn't have a problem as a conscious agent theorist. Kastrup doesn't have that problem as an idealist or a panpsychist. There's whole...
Right, so stop calling it the hard problem.
There are a whole slew of disciplines where consciousness isn't a hard problem. Mm-hmm. It's only a hard problem for a physicalist. Right. And my thing is, I think that's a misnomer. I think that it's just a logical impossibility. Because if I were to do the equation, 0 plus 0 is always going to be equal to 0. So if there was ever a time when there was no consciousness, we would never have consciousness. Because...
Yeah, right.
So you have to have an eternal consciousness. which is what, Kastrup and Hoffman and all the rest of them believe, but they won't come out and say it's God, just like this thing. So I just thought it was fascinating when they were talking about the universe or the force in the universe, because he was speaking of it as if it was a conscious, self-aware being that's aware of the fact that it's alone, which of course is really fascinating as a Christian, because what Christians believe is that God has never been alone.
Right.
Is that God has always existed in the Trinity. But if monism is true or Unitarianism is true, then you do have a conscious being that is relational, that's been alone for trillions of eons.
Right.
And that must be a massively empty feeling. So like basically the God of the Unitarians has been in solitary confinement for trillions of years. Like when you talk about these people that have been to prison and all that and the horrible conditions they're in these supermax prisons and they're by themselves for 23 hours. So like it's really interesting. Like Unitarianism has a God that's in solitary confinement for trillions of years until he bails himself out by creating sentient beings that he can relate to. Whereas our God has never been alone, because our God has existed in the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit from all eternity.
Right.
And so the reason he creates is not due to loneliness, but due to charity.
Right.
Because what God says is, wow, I am so awesome that we're enjoying ourselves within ourselves. Wouldn't it be cool if other people were able to see this? And so they create out of an act of charity, not an act of loneliness or an act of necessity. As Jonathan Edwards said, it's not a defect in a fountain that it is prone to overflow. Right? And so creation in a Trinitarian standpoint is a result of an overflow of love, whereas in a Unitarian sense, creation would be out of a necessity because God's in solitary confinement.
He has no choice.
And he can't hang himself. Because he's God. He's got the unfortunate circumstance of only being, within himself.
Yeah.
So it's just very, very, very fascinating ideas. What's interesting? Tasco says God has a split personality and keeps himself company by talking to himself. Well, no, because what we're saying is there are three separate consciousnesses who are aware of the other.
Right. Within
the Trinity. So no. But what is interesting is that Bernardo Kastrup is an idealist. So what he believes is that we are disassociations of the original consciousness. So like,
really?
So for example, when you say it's multiple personality disorder, it's really a dissociative something disorder.
Yeah.
So, you have people that like embody and become other people because they disassociate from their original prime, their original self, and they disassociate. And so now you have this other person that's disassociated from the original person. So that's what Bernardo Kastrup believes all conscious beings are, is that there is an initial conscious being, and then we are the disassociations of that one conscious being.
That's an interesting thought.
So in that situation, that being has multiple personality disorder, but Kastrup doesn't call it a disorder, but basically, there you go. And so it's really interesting because when he talks about, okay, so what do you do with humans that have multiple personality disorder? He says all those personalities are real. He says, why is it that the first or the primary personality or the personality that you show to other people,
that's interesting.
why is that the real personality?
Why is that the real one?
It goes, and if you think about it, it's like, I'm a completely different person than I am when I was 2. So does that mean I had multiple personalities based on development? But because we all do that, we don't call it a disorder. So this guy's saying, well, okay, so the guy thinks he's the president or whatever, that's his personality. How could you say he's wrong? So it's just very, very, very fascinating stuff. Really, really fascinating stuff.
There was a line in here, the pain of the slow evil of an unsung life. That wasn't the part, but
what was it?
This part, the pain of the slow evil of an unsung life. I want to read through the lyrics a little bit. I'm the one you call the thief, universe, blank verse, crowded hearse. I am a haven by an unseen stream. Oh, it sounds like rap, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
I'll sing the dawn in with you, now that you have a voice, earth bride amongst the Karen kind. Walk with me to your sea. Someone in the tomorrow is waiting for me, someone to share the thief with. Dust with a meaning, precious and rare. I am the grass, the maggots, and the dust. I am the several endings, the pain of a slow evil of an unsung life. Decades make them matter. Maraude tales befall you before the even ballad of our stay. Await my touch, the luck of the draw. Enter now. Come, here is life, endlessness. So what did you think that this is about?
Well, I said what it was about. The guy who wrote the song told us what it's about.
Yeah.
I'll read
Can
it
you
to you
just
again.
you talked about some universe or something?
It's a song about a universe or actually a multiversal force. So grand, so majestic that it actually binds and permeates everything.
Well,
all of our lives are just tiny particles in that mighty flow. And then there's this mere human vocalist and his friend, a human being as well, who has written this story. And we're in this rock group trying to bring its unique loneliness across to other mere humans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what were you going to say with that?
I can't remember. There was a line in here that I can't find it, and I don't remember. So we're just gonna have to move along.
Yeah. So when he says, "I am the grass, the maggots, and the dust," I am the several endings, the pain of the slow evil of an unsung life. So that's this force or whatever that's behind everything, that permeates everything. Really, really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. This dude is a deep thinker, man.
And I love the way that their voices were working together and the way that the music was working. I don't know. There was a sort of I can't describe it. Like it had a sort of completeness feel to it. Like it had a good sound. I liked it. I did think she was going to go up higher than she did. But it was still, I'm sure that there was a reason. I'm trying to like think what reason they would do, like, because they always usually just have her go off really high.
Not all the time.
Well, the ones that I've heard, they usually do. This one they didn't, so I thought there's a lot of them they don't.
Yeah, we've done a lot of songs where she doesn't do that.
Oh, I feel like she always does. Maybe it's because
No,
those
that's
are the ones
because
that
I
stick out
listened
to
to
me.
that one song over and over again one time for an entire year.
That one, Ghost Love Song.
Yeah.
Listen to that one a bunch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you give it?
This one's a 9.7 for me. I really, really liked it. I love the concept. I loved all of it.
I'll match you on 9.7.
Freaking Nightwish, ladies and gents. There you are, dear listener.
There you are.
If you're in a live stream, stay tuned. If you're a square, we're going to have to check you later at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.